In this video, we're going to discuss how to shorten import paths. Many times, in large projects especially, you're going to have a lot of paths, and some of them get really long. Let me show you an easy way to shorten these. First of all, let's look at the particular paths in this project. So we have utility functions. Now this isn't that long, but just as a demonstration, I'm going to be showing you how to shorten these so that you don't have extra long imports. It can be very annoying. To shorten our paths, we first need to go to the tsconfig. In your application, you're going to have a tsconfig.json, and you're going to have a tsconfig.app.json. You can do it in either one of these, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go into tsconfig.json in this case here, so I'm going to open that up. Let me enlarge this so that you can see it better. All right. The first thing we need to do, because we've got to shorten these so that they're not so long, what we're going to do is we're going to add paths. But before we can add paths, we need to define base URL. The key here is if you add paths and you don't add the base URL, it's not going to work. And many times I've seen people get frustrated with this. It's like, I added paths and it's not working. Why is this? Well, they didn't put in the base URL. So let me add it in here. And that's all you need for the base URL. Now we're going to add paths. Now paths is interesting. I'm going to call this utility. The reason I'm going to call it utility is these things are all under the utility here. So I want CSS property, debug output card, and functions. Now I'm not sure where this is used, so I'm not going to worry about it at this time. But this one and this one, these two, we are going to put into our paths here. So with this open, we can see where it is in the hierarchy. We're going to start out by creating our @utility, and @utility is going to be an array. Oh, I forgot one thing. We need to add the /*. This means anything under this. We're going to start out with creating an array. The reason I'm doing an array is that's what this is. It requires an array, and you can put multiple in here, and we're going to use that to our advantage. src, because our base is right here, okay, and so public I don't care about, but my base is here, so I want src, then app, then utility. So src app utility. Now here's where it gets fun. So I'm going to add in debug output card. Debug output card. And then I want a /*. And I'm going to add the next one. So this one's going to be functions. functions, and then asterisk because there's multiple functions. So there's multiple functions here, and in here I have multiple files, but I want to get this one specifically. I could put that in there, but I just do asterisk. It's much easier that way. Now let's go back here to our, let's start at the scrollable. You'll notice that my editor now says, hey, this is an error. So what I want to do is I want to change this. I'm going to put an @ The reason I'm putting the @ is that's what I put here. So this is @utility. So @utility. And I'm going to get rid of the functions because I don't need that anymore. And now this works. I'm going to grab the next one here, @ and get rid of all of that. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing. Now notice this one is going up to directory layers and then down. Well, I don't need to do all that. Look how that has shortened it up. And that is how you shorten your paths. Let's review how we shortened our import paths. First of all, we go into the tsconfig, and it has to be under compiler options. Then you have to create a base URL. If you don't do this, paths is not going to work. The next thing we did is we looked in our utility. Our base is the base of our project. So we've got to go dot, which is the project folder, source, which is this one, then app, and then utility. Here's source, app, utility. And then inside utility, we have output, debug card, and functions. And that is all we had to do. Then we went over and we fixed this. Remember, it had a long path here. We shortened to just this. And this one we also shortened it. Now notice that it only has utility, @utility. You don't need to put the @ there. I could have left it without the @, but I put it on just so that I know that this is a path. You'll notice the Angular did the same thing up here for their @Angular core. Now that's going to be in the Angular configuration, but this is your project configuration. Let's discuss where you find your instructions for this. When I first searched on this, I was looking at Angular, and in Angular it doesn't have this information. You have to remember, this is tsconfig, and tsconfig is part of TypeScript configuration. So Angular is based on TypeScript, so I had to go to the TypeScript, and in their typescriptlang.org tsconfig, I had to search for paths. So down here I found paths, and in here is where you find the reference for this. I will leave a link to this in the description below. I hope this video has helped you. Please like and subscribe, and we will continue to make more videos. Thank you.